All right, welcome back. Our next viewpoint. One airline's policy towards breastfeeding causing a stir on social media. All right, here's what happened. Lindsay Janes wanted to know Delta Airlines' breastfeeding policy before a 6-hour flight. Okay, so not unusual. She tweeted their help account, and the tweet back indicated she needed to be covered up.
Well, did it?
Well, Delta Airlines' main account quickly stepped in and told Janes the first response she received wasn't correct and that breastfeeding mothers are welcome on their flights. But the damage had already been done. Breastfeeding advocates and those who aren't so crazy about the idea of breastfeeding in public have taken to Twitter to chime in. So here we go again. The whole breastfeeding debate pops up again because, and to get this correct, my understanding is she tweeted a question to customer service at Delta. Right. What's your breastfeeding policy?
Why would you tweet a question rather than email the question if you didn't want to create this big
Because she did want to create this big...
Well, no. Okay, devil's advocate. That's just the way some people communicate. And those of us who don't communicate on Twitter just need to get over it. I think it could legitimately... I mean, people tweet all the time. The younger you are, the more likely you are to have a conversation on Twitter.
But that's not
what was her handle, too?
Yeah, @ClassicHippie is her Twitter handle.
Yeah.
I think she had an axe to grind.
I do, too.
Okay.
And I just,
Sour grapes.
you know, yeah.
Well,
I mean, if she truly wanted to know
tweet.
what their policy was, she would have sent an email or she would have called the 800 number. But I think she just wanted to get attention and create a big...
Okay.
I agree.
Maybe.
From the tone of the tweet, too. Carrie, can we see it again? I want to read it again.
What does she say?
Okay. So Delta Assist tweeted, she apparently, we don't have the original tweet, but she's, said, I've got this long flight. What's your policy? What do you suggest I do because my baby won't feed under a cover? And the tweet says, I would suggest pumping if you can and bringing it on board with you. That's that's a world away, in my opinion, from saying no breastfeeding.
Right. Yeah.
They suggested an option.
Right. I don't see what was so inflammatory about Delta's response.
Well, I don't either.
I don't either.
Yeah.
You know, it's just...
I agree with you. I think she was looking for
a fight.
She had an agenda.
And organizations, large organizations like Delta, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Right.
Because no matter what you say, there is a vocal minority that's going to be against it and then possibly take to Twitter.
Right.
So what is a legitimate policy? What do you think would be legitimate for Delta to have responded? This is our...
I think their response was legitimate. You can pump and bring the breast milk on board with you. Short of that, I don't know what else they could have said to her that would have been satisfactory.
Right. I think they never told her she couldn't breastfeed. They never did.
No.
But she said she couldn't do it under a drape because the baby wouldn't feed that way. So it looked to me like Delta was saying, okay, well, if that's the case, why don't you pump and bring it? You can bring... I thought they were trying to be helpful. I really do.
But then, aren't you subject to the 3-ounce, liquids?
No, I think there's exceptions.
I think they make an exception in the case of breast milk.
There's an exception for baby formula.
They do? Okay.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big controversy. Years ago, after 9/11, I guess, and they started, with the 3 ounces and that sort of thing. And some women were even offering to taste
show
it themselves,
show
and there was this whole thing's been hashed out so many times over and over again.
So,
why are we still...
Generally speaking, haven't we as a culture decided that it's appropriate to do what? It is appropriate to breastfeed in public, openly?
Covered, yes.
Covered.
As long as you're covered, I think so. I don't think anybody objects to that.
Yeah.
And her whole thing was that her child would not feed covered.
I want to breastfeed and I don't want to cover up.
Right.
Right.
But I mean, at what point does your right to breastfeed, infringe on my right to sit next to you and not
be uncomfortable?
Be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Physically, emotionally, I don't know.
And there's always the option, maybe not so much anymore, to move to a seat where you wouldn't be so obvious, maybe bulkhead or all the way in the back of the plane or something like that. No.
You know what?
I didn't mean that. But, how about going into the restroom or going into the going up to the front where the the jump seat or something like that to breastfeed. I don't know.
There
are a lot of options.
And I wonder why, with a 10-week-old, you have to take a 6-hour flight anyway.
With the kid. Yeah, good point. All right.
Can't that trip wait?
Wait on the trip. Leave the kid at home. You've heard from us. Now we'd love to hear what you have to say on any of the topics, stem cell therapy, breastfeeding, or the others. You can do so by going to the Texas Daily Facebook page or by tweeting us at the Texas Daily, hashtag Texas Daily. I think it's at Texas Daily. Comments. I know.
Hashtag.
Yeah. Or comments at ktxdtv.com. So stay here. We'll be right back with a daily quiz.
And we're not anti-Twitter.
No.
By any